Hello and welcome to Retirement Wealth Academy. I'm your host, Erin Kennedy. Thanks for being with us. This show is dedicated to helping retirees and pre-retirees sort through some of the most complicated topics about retirement. And for the answers, we turn to local experts. Today we have Nick Royer with us. Nick, it's good to see you again.
I love being here.
I'm glad because, we have an important one today. This one comes up a lot. How do I know if I am on track in retirement? Determining what we'll need to live on in retirement is very difficult. So how do I know if I'm on track? How do I know that I'm not going to run out of money?
Well, when you get to retirement, you almost got to envision what that's going to cost you. What is your lifestyle expenses? A lot of people say, I know what the phone bill is, I know what the, my mortgage is, and I know what the HOA fee is. But when you think about the lifestyle, my grandpa, when he retired, he actually looked at it as a bad thing. He worked for, I think, 40 some odd years at Ford Motor Company. And when he retired, he looked at it as, now I have 8 hours more time a day to spend money, right? And so when my dad first started working, he worked in a movie theater. And that movie theater was like 25 cents for a movie ticket and popcorn. And we think about how much that costs today. So you don't want to sit in the house all day and not do anything. You're going to be doing things, and that stuff is going to cost. So you almost got to figure out what that lifestyle expense is going to be, figure out how much you've saved up, and then do a little work to figure out what we call retirement income analysis to find out, okay, if I know I'm going to be spending this amount, and I know I'm bringing in this amount of income, when does it run out, if it does? And hopefully your money lasts way past age 100. And a lot of people are like, well, I only need it to last till 83. You know what? I mean, and I'll just tell people, do you know anybody past 83? Oh yeah, I know a bunch of people. That could be you.
And you don't want to take that phone call on their 84th birthday.
That's right.
Yeah.
You never want to have that conversation that, you know what, you just kind of you're getting low, you got to start dialing back.
Right.
And so you almost have to look at these. And then, like I say, red line is we just need to figure out when does that money run out, if at all? Is there a red line that exists? And then hopefully you're smarter and you've done planning early. We call it the rule of 55. If you're 55 years old, you need to have a financial plan. You might think that's too young. No, you do need one. And if you're 65 years old, the worst thing is to retire and then show up at your financial advisor's office and say, I need a plan now. Hold on, you're already retired. It's hard to fix things once that's already happened. So you got to do some of this legwork early on.
And I'm sure that one important part will be determining how to pay for health care, right? Because that is often the biggest expense in retirement.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, I mentioned before Fidelity Investments did a study that an average couple age 65 to 95 years old, I think, is how long they figured they would last. That couple is going to spend over $300,000 in health-related expenses over their retirement years, not counting long-term care.
Right.
And if we think long-term care, right now, if you want a nursing home stay in the state of Florida, private care, that's going to be $100,000 a year. So we're not talking Mickey Mouse like little prices. We're talking big prices that you're going to have just from healthcare related expenses.
Now, what if my goals change in retirement? I can assume I want one thing now, but being 5 years, 10 years into retirement, I'm sure a lot of people change what they want.
It's just like showing up at a house. If an electrician shows up in the house, they don't know what they're getting into. They don't know what's happened before. They have a framework for what to do, and then they have to mimic. And that's all that you have to do in retirement is you got to put an initial blueprint together. And we'll create a one-page blueprint for people. Everything in their life on one page, very simple to see. And then every year we come back to that blueprint. And we just say, okay, here's your blueprint from last year. Has anything changed? Is there anything we need to adjust or adapt? And they might say, yeah, this has changed. I need more income. The house is paid off. Maybe the house isn't paid off. We need to tweak and know. And then we can make adjustments as we need to. But you almost got to build this framework and then adjust as time goes on to your changing life. When you're 85 years old, you're going to be much different of a person with needs and everything else than you were at 65, 55, 75. And saying that I built a financial plan when I was 65 and never making a change again, ever, is not good planning.
Right. In retirement, a lot of us start to think, or maybe sooner, about legacy planning. So what strategies are there, tax strategies, that address either what I want to leave behind to charity or my family?
Well, and what most Americans are doing is they built up, the biggest asset is a 401k and an IRA,
Right.
which is pre-tax money. And I call those ticking tax time bombs, because if you have $1 million in a 401k or IRA and you leave that to your beneficiaries, and let's say you had 3 kids, did you know that Uncle Sam is actually going to be the biggest heir to your money? Because they take their money first. They don't say, hey, you know what, we know you're down on your luck, you just lost mom and dad, we're going to waive those taxes on that money. No, Uncle Sam claims first. And so here you might have $300,000 out of that $1 million go away to Uncle Sam, and the 3 remaining beneficiaries split the remaining $700,000. So they actually don't get as much money as Uncle Sam. And so that is tax inefficient. So what you want to do is have as much tax-free money built up. Sometimes that's tax-free wealth and Roth IRAs and things like that. Sometimes it's tax-free death benefit through life insurance and different strategies like that somebody can use to pass on tax-free wealth. That's how millions and millions of dollars has been passed through the wealthiest families in the country, has been through strategies like that. Not just saying, well, you know, I have IRA money, which is the most tax inefficient, and passing that on. So doing a tax analysis is really important, or what we call a tax x-ray, so that you can find out how you can leave the most amount of money to your beneficiaries as humanly possible.
You know, it's nice to see the strategies that are out there. I can see why people get overwhelmed, but you talking it through was really, really helpful. Nick, thank you so much for your help with this.
Great being with you, Erin.